Hello, Nancy Schmidt here from Our Sidetrack Life. And today I want to present to you some powerful tools for helping you actually achieve those goals this year. Sometimes the hardest thing for us to do is to take action when we're already completely busy and overwhelmed by all the things we have to do. So today I want to give you some tools that might help move you along and keep you on track. If you haven't had a chance to look at the vision map workshop that I did last month in December, I linked it in the description below. You can go in there and do that if you want to, but you might already have some ideas and brainstorm some thoughts about some goals you want to achieve this year. So that is not a necessary step before watching this workshop. And as you go along in this workshop, feel free to pause anytime that you need to, and you can work on those goals as we go along as well. Let's jump in. So I want to introduce myself just a little bit, and in case you haven't met me yet. So my family and I, this is them. I travel the world with my husband and two older kids. One's a tween, one's a teen. And we are a family that has been road schooling. We loved to do that when they were little. We would just jump in the RV and leave. We actually, at one point, had sold everything and left to RV full time all across the US. And we went to national parks and just really learned a lot about the United States and how amazing and beautiful it really is. We've also, after that, homeschooled with an unschooling slash kind of a hybrid philosophy, where some of the subjects were a little bit more structured and others weren't. And we adopted a Waldorf philosophy to kind of integrate with our beliefs about that and help the kids. So we've been homeschooling and road schooling for years and years and years, 12 years, over 12 years. Now, though, we are actually in Costa Rica. And we decided last year, after living in beautiful Colorado, going through a pandemic, that we would just go for it and sell everything and go for our dreams of being able to travel and experience the world and world school the kids. So that's what we're doing right now. We have been going since September, and now we're in Costa Rica until the end of next month, which is at the time of this recording, end of February. So, and I personally have been a remote college professor even before pandemic. So over 20 years off and on. I've taught a variety of courses, but my favorites to teach are actually human communication courses, including interpersonal. So this, how do we talk to each other in different settings? And then also intercultural communication and how we can meet each other in the middle and really create mutual understanding, which is so needed, I think, in the world today. So my passions are, conscious communication and understanding ourselves deeply so that we can then communicate with intention with others around us. And that follows, it kind of encourages us to focus on different aspects of our life and improve them and have personal transformation because of that. And aside from that, I love paddling, kayaking, SUP, I don't even know. Do people say SUP or just SUP? But any body of water, you give it to me. I love rivers. I love oceans. I love lakes. We're a hiking, camping family and always have been. And I personally do yoga as part of my self-care practices for my body and my mind. And hey, I'm basically up for any adventure. So that is me. And I just want to, again, welcome you to dedicating some time, setting aside some time to focus on you and your goals. So are you ready? All right, let's get going. I'm going to be covering today just 4 different things, but really focusing in on 2. So I'm going to review the SMART Goals guidelines. I actually did present this in the first vision map workshop. So if you want to go back to that and go to that section, you can look at that a little bit more, but I'll briefly review that today. I'm going to focus in on tools for taking action, how we can structure our time, structure our day, and use habits that we already have for taking action. And I want to talk about procrastination a little bit and procrastination busters. So tools to help us get over the hump and on to what we really want to do, which is taking small steps to achieve our goal or goals. Then I want to end with a brief discussion on how we can reframe any setbacks that we have, because we're bound to have them. We're human, and it's a process. So let's first start here by looking at these SMART guidelines. And if you haven't heard of these, it's just an acronym that stands for specific, which means we want to make sure our goals are clear, they're easy to achieve, and this will help us to know how to achieve our goal, right? We want to make sure our goals are measurable. So this means, can they be tracked? Can you see progress? And that is very motivating, right? And also helps us to establish when a goal has been completed, and we can kind of move on to that next goal, if that's the kind of goal it is. Actionable is the goal that you have laid out for yourself. Actionable. Can you take actions, take steps to achieve it? Has it been defined enough that you understand the steps needed? And it's okay if you don't know all the steps needed. Research is always part of this process, right? Or getting support or getting help to do something. So that can be an action item in itself. Is your goal and or goals realistic? Are they realistic for you? Meaning, do you have what you need to start working towards that goal? And so that could change, that can shift. Is it realistic right now? No, but actually learning about it, that's realistic, right? I'm not going to start right away by making $1 million in a year if I've never done a business or had a business, but I can have a goal that's much more achievable and fits the need of where you're at in the process, in the journey. And that's going to be dependent on you. So that really is something that you have to think about. Very important to take time to do these. So also, are your goals time bound? Do you have a deadline set for it? And then if it's a really big goal, like a big long-term goal, do you have some smaller short-term goals that help you move towards achieving that long-term goal? And are those set? Do they have deadlines set to them? Okay. So if you can take your goal, like for instance, maybe your goal this year is to actually take your family on a family gap year, like we did. That is not something to take lightly. There's a lot of steps involved in researching and all of that. So my long-term goal might be, that vision that I have might be family gap year, traveling Europe and Central America, only because, you know, those are places that we all have interest to go. So that's our big, lofty kind of vision and our goal. And I want to take that goal and use these guidelines to make them more specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and time-bound by looking at all the things that need to happen, research those things if need be, and put them into some sort of timeline so that I can work towards achieving that goal. And that's what I did last year, and it was amazing. It was a good process. We had to even sell the house because we sold everything again. And that takes a lot of work, right? So that was the first priority. But in the meantime, I got to do some fun things and research about where we want to travel and how that might be done. We also have a dog, so we had to research about that. So you get the idea. So let's move on then. Once you have your goals defined using the SMART guidelines, here are some tools for taking action. We want to be sure that we are being reminded of the goals we have set for ourselves. So some goals elude us, right? Some goals get put on our list every year, and then we never achieve them, and it just gets pushed and pushed and pushed. So one really, really strong, powerful way to ensure that we remember and are always reminded about what goals we have in mind is to post them somewhere visible. Now, this could be in your journal. If you write in a journal every day, good to have those right there at the very beginning. It could be on your desktop. It could be on your phone, anywhere that regularly you will return to and will see those goals written. You could even do it like I do, just on my bathroom mirror. That works really well too. And I'm sure you have some really good ideas for that. But anywhere that you'll see it every day. My bathroom mirror, I see it twice a day. It's perfect. It helps me stay laser focused on that. Also, if you don't keep your goals at this high level, right? And they're kind of big and overwhelming. Sometimes we do that, and it's important to break those into smaller tasks and to identify just 15 to 30-minute blocks of time that we can focus in on achieving these small tasks that all will lead up to achieving a large goal or a milestone within that path, right? Then you want to take those blocks of time and actually schedule it right into your calendar. So if you have your goals written down, or some of them, go ahead and do this. Write out your goal, make it really nice, however you want it to look, or write it in your journal, or put it on your phone, put it on your computer. Have that goal visible for you. And also spend some time in the vision mapping workshop. We talked about this more. Spend some time remembering your why and writing down your why, because the why, the feeling that we'll have when we accomplish the goal, the reason why we're doing it, this is very important for motivation. So write that out. And if you need to pause the video at any time, go ahead and do that. Then after you've done that, after you've written it out and you have an idea of where you want to post it, I want you to break it down. Look at all the steps that you might need to take. Maybe just do some brainstorming if you don't know what all those might be. One of them might be research more about it. Write that in. Write down some steps. Maybe you have like 3 to 5 or more. And look at those things and ask yourself, can I spend 30 minutes a day on this? Or maybe it's just 4 days a week. And if you can, then you can put those directly into your calendar at a time that works for you. Maybe you have time in the morning before the kids wake up, or maybe lunchtime is a really good time. Maybe in the evening before you go to bed can be your time to spend time on you working on your goal. Little bits of time add up. So schedule those blocks right into your calendar. You can do that right now. Lastly, I want to share this really powerful tool that not a lot of people might have heard of. However, you might use it in different ways, or maybe you already do it subconsciously, but it's really powerful when you write it out in the way that I'm going to show you. It's an ABC to-do list, and it helps you prioritize and stay on task. So I'm going to show you an example of this. So for instance, you look in your calendar, and also, by the way, it can be very useful to separate this out. You have one ABC to-do list for work, and then you have one for, just other things, family, yourself. If you are also homeschooling and that kind of thing, you might want to have a separate one for homeschooling, because that can be a different block of time, like for planning and things like that. So whatever categories you want to have, you can separate them out into different lists, or just use headings on one list. And that's great too. So in my list, you can see here, I'm using A's for high priority things that must get done. So A's are your things that you absolutely need to get done today. B's are things that, if you get all your A's done, you can work on your B's. They are things that don't necessarily need to get done today, but I'll show you, I'll go through my example here. I obviously, I do teach college still, of course. And so grading is very important to me. I like to give them really good feedback. I like to give them feedback as soon as I can. So grading papers, have to get that done. I obviously want to send a video about this workshop to participants and also post it on the YouTube channel. So that's important for me today. And then I want to send 3 emails for my research project. I'm working on this cool passion project. So that to me is very important. I've put it as a priority because I've put it off before. So I'm now making a priority. I'm committing to it this year. The B's, buy dog food. I don't have to do it today, but I better do it tomorrow or the next day. So that might bump up to an A tomorrow if I notice that the dog food really, really is getting low. Making an eye appointment. B, so you get the idea. C is something that is just something that, hey, if everything else is done, it's kind of a fun project. And maybe you set aside time on the weekend or, specific time of day to actually do that later, but it's not something that really needs to get done that day. So at this point, I want you to try to just do this with one of your pull up one of your calendar pages, see the things that are on your calendar, and go ahead and use that to help you brainstorm all the tasks that you need to do. And I want you to look back at your goals list and find that first task that you think would be the first thing you need to do to get moving and started on your goals. And I want you to go ahead and write out a to-do list using this method. The 1, 2, 3s are just putting them in order of how you're going to, the timing of it. So what you're going to accomplish first. And do not move on to that second one until the first one's done. I know it's so tempting. I fall prey to this too. I feel like many women might be in this position, but for sure for me, I can multitask really well for a lot of things. But there are things that require my focused attention. And some things I don't really particularly love to do, like grading papers, so interesting. I love reading them, but it's a slog, you know? That's why I put it first. And I'll talk about a procrastination strategy linked to this later, next. But it's important for me to remind myself that I need to get the first one done first, and then I can move on to the next one. Please try this. Make a to-do list that uses the ABCs to prioritize, and try to use it tomorrow or sometime this week and see what you think. See if it's a good tool that might work for you. Okay, let's talk a little bit about procrastination. I couldn't even say it. How many of you have procrastinated once in your life? Yes, of course. I think I did it yesterday when it came to the laundry. We all procrastinate. Now, whether our procrastination gets in the way of something that is major in our life or could be, not good, it depends, right? It's okay probably to procrastinate on some things, but other things that are important to us, like our goals that we set for ourselves, should not fall into this category. We should not be procrastinating on them. We should be working on them little by little. So let me just go through some tools that could be useful for you. And the whole idea of presenting different ideas, some you may already use, some might be new to you. There's a reason, though, that you have been drawn to this workshop. And so maybe there's a little tidbit, a little new tool that could really, really help you. This is awesome, especially when we already have some good habits and routines. Most of us do. We have routines and habits. Whether they're good or bad, I don't know, but we already have routines. So if we can pair a new task that we want to start incorporating, or that we want to start becoming a new habit, it's very powerful when you can pair it with something you already do. So let me use an easy example, flossing. Oh my gosh, I don't know why I do not floss every day. And I know I should. My husband does. He did it from when he was young. Our kids do, because we taught them that they had to do it. So I struggle with this, but I've been doing better because I've paired it just with toothbrushing. I don't have it like in the car or try to do it during the day. I do it at night, but my floss is right there. And I do it first before I brush my teeth. So it's just a thing that I do. And I've paired it with another habit I already do, and it is working. Yay. Another strategy is eat the frog first. Don't know if you've heard of this one. It comes from a quote from Mark Twain, who said, hey, if this is not quoting exactly, I'm sure. If you eat a frog in the morning, the rest of your day is going to be fine, right? So there's probably a project or a goal or something that you have on your list that is either going to be boring or it's just going to be hard. It's going to be difficult. And this might be one of the goals, right? Some of the steps may not be as fun as other steps, but you have to do it first. And what happens is if it's a slog for us, or if it doesn't sound like it's going to be fun, we may put it off. And that is procrastination. And so we need to eat that frog first. We need to just do it, take action. Then the rest of your day, you can move forward and you aren't thinking about that frog in the back of your mind. If you're a morning person and you know that your mind is more focused in the morning, this is perfect for you. Maybe not too early in the morning, but our most productive times tend to be between 10 and 2. So This might be a good strategy for you. Now, this other strategy, have you heard of the 5-second rule? This is amazing. I talk about this more in depth in my blog, oursidetracklife.com. And I describe more about more of the kind of the science behind it, like why this happens. But a lot of times our brain can get in the way. So if we pull up our schedule and we see this frog that we have to do, okay, our brain will start protecting itself. So it'll say, oh God, no, that I hate that. You'll start having all these thoughts about how bad this is, which creates stress in your body. So your body is going to flee, or it's going to freeze or feel overwhelmed. Or it might fight back some way, get emotional about it, like angry. You never know, but those are the 3 typical things that could happen when your brain is experiencing or thinks it's experiencing stress, right? So that's exactly what's happening when we procrastinate. We will do anything. We will avoid that stressful situation, and we'll do anything besides that thing that we should be doing. And it's our brain, it's ourselves protecting ourselves. So thank you for helping protect us, but let's try to hack this a little bit by using the 5-second rule, which simply means if you can start acting and start doing the thing you need to do within 5 seconds, your brain doesn't have enough time to start coming up with negative narratives and thoughts, bad thoughts about it. I loved what one of my participants said. They said they use ready, set, go. So when they see the frog or the thing they don't want to do, or maybe just using it with everything could be very, very fun and useful. Just say to yourself, ready, set, go. And that fills the space in your mind for anything negative that might start popping up. So ready, set, go. And then you get up and you start moving towards that book or opening your computer to go for it. Of course, what can help too is prep, making sure that whatever you're doing, so like if you're working on a book or something like that, you have your space set up for success so that you can just sit down and go. You don't need to fuss with anything or clean up anything. Your space is ready to go. That can be really powerful as well. This is so helpful for so many people. I wish I could say that I could do everything on my own. There are some areas of my life that I'm really, really, good at, and I've figured stuff out and I've managed to do some pretty cool stuff. But there's some areas of my life that I need an accountability partner. Now, an accountability partner doesn't have to necessarily be another person or someone in the same situation as you. It could be someone else that you just say, hey, I would love to work with you. Maybe they're a mentor to you. Maybe they can become a mentor to you. Maybe they're someone that's just a friend that is really good at achieving goals in a certain area. And it also can be online. It can be people you don't know. It can be part of a group. Maybe there's a group that is all about this one thing that you really want to achieve. Maybe there's a role model in a book or a speaker that you really admire. So those can be accountability partners too, because if you need some motivation, you open their book or you pop on a TED Talk or you pop on a video that can inspire and motivate you. Accountability partners, though, tend to mean that you have someone working with you that you can work together with and that can hold you accountable. They don't need to be doing the same thing, remember, but they need to be good at holding you accountable. So use that if you think that's going to be a powerful tool for you. And then, oh my gosh, have fun, gamify your successes. There are some apps out there that are really great at tracking, like giving you awards. Like Duolingo, our family tries to learn the language for each country that we're visiting just a little bit. Duo is super fun for the kids because they get to see their awards and they get to see how far they've come. They get to compete with other people. So whatever you need to help you stay on task and feel good about the successes of moving forward in whatever goal you are trying to achieve, do it, gamify it, create rewards for yourself. And I put this picture up of the stars because it just reminded me of when we were, in kindergarten, and like, oh, I learned my ABCs, or I learned my address, or, those different things that you might learn. You get a little gold star. I remember, I think it was third grade or second grade, times tables. If you could do your times tables, you get a star in that column. So just make it fun. I think too many times we make goals a slog and hard and, just a lot of work. And yes, they are a lot of work, but please, by all means, make it fun, because the end result is something that you want to do for yourself that is awesome. And you're going to be so proud of yourself when you get to that point. So give yourself rewards and have fun with it. The last thing I want to really talk about is reframing our setbacks. Everyone will have setbacks, and I want to remind you of that. Hey, it's okay. Mistakes, failures, they're a necessary part of success. And when you're trying to achieve a goal that kind of has been eluding you or is new to you, especially, it can be so easy for us to just give up. In fact, 80% of us who have New Year's resolutions, 80% of us will stop working on those resolutions within 2 months' time. And I don't want that to happen to you. I want you to achieve your goals. So I'm not going to talk a lot about reframing setbacks. This is a lot of mindset information and barriers to succeeding, barriers to goals, achieving goals. But I will be talking about that next month in a mini workshop about that, all about why do we quit, the biology a little bit behind, and the psychology behind why we quit our goals. And then tools for getting a reset, for reframing them, getting humble, learning from them, pivoting if we need to, and then moving forward and continuing to move forward until, yes, we've achieved what we want to achieve. And then we can be so proud. So that's going to be next week. So that's what I want to talk about real quick before I say bye. The next mini workshop, the link and the date, it's Wednesday, January 22nd. But of course, if you're watching this as a recording, the recording of the link will be included below later. But the link to the event, if you're watching this before February 22nd, is going to be in the description below. And I would love for you to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's just getting started. It's filled with kind of funny stuff now, but I'm going to start getting more, focused on the content I want to provide you. And please follow us on Instagram and Facebook. We're traveling and sharing, and it's pretty fun to share with other families as well who are doing the same thing, or homeschool families that we know. So please do that. We'd love to see you on there. The links are in the description as well. And again, I just want to leave you with the reminder that you have infinite possibilities available to you. And what we're doing with our vision and our goal setting and working towards these goals are a way to manifest these possibilities for you. And I know you can do it. Thanks for joining, everyone. And I appreciate your time. And I look forward to seeing you maybe next month.